Hello and welcome. Today we are going to factorize questions involving several skills. Okay. Now it's mixed factorization. That means it could be by grouping or factorizing trinomial, or you may use perfect square or difference of squares. So it could be combination of few. Okay. So the first question I'm doing is factorize completely. See, when you see the word completely, it tells you it has more than one step involved in the question. Okay. When we look at the question here, the first coefficient is 3, the next coefficient is 33, the last coefficient is 30. We can straight away see 3 goes into everything. So when I take that out, my question looks much easier. When I do that, 3 bracket x square take away 33 becomes 11x plus 30 becomes 10. Okay, so now the question becomes much easier to do. Okay, now you have the 3. This is a trinomial with coefficient x square. That means obviously you're going to have double bracket. Of course, the first term is x in both the brackets. Now, the product is 10 and the sum is 11 minus 11. When the product is 10, it's plus 10. So that means you have to find factors of 10 add up to minus 11. If I do that, so I'm writing factors of 10. So when I do the sum, this would give you 11, this gives you 7. We don't care about this. So the sum is 11. Okay, so that definitely the number is going to be 10 and 1 first. Okay, then, 10 and 1. Then we have to decide the sign. Because the sum is negative 11, we know minus 1 minus 10 times minus 1 gives you positive 11, and then, positive 10. I repeat, minus 10 times minus 1 gives you 10, and minus 10 plus minus 1 gives you minus 11. So this is the pair I'm choosing. So obviously it's going to be a minus here and a minus here. So therefore 3x squared minus 33x plus 30 can be factorized as 3 bracket x minus 10 times x minus 1. Okay, we'll do another question. Okay, unlike the previous question, this has 4 terms. When you have 4 terms, it gives you a kind of indication you have, unless something is common, you must use factorize by grouping. Okay, again when I group, make sure something goes into both. So I'm just going to group them. The first and the second term, definitely I can take x square out. Likewise, I'm grouping the second pair, which is this. Okay, so now I'm going to start the question. When I do the first 2 terms, the common factor is, I think x square goes into both, x cube and minus 3x square. If I take x square out, that leaves with only x, that minus sign, and then here I've taken x square, leaving with only 3. Close the bracket. Now, if I do the factorize by grouping, the first factor, you must have the x minus 3 should be in the other as well. Something has to be common. Now, what it means is I'm going to write x minus 3 here. That tells me what to take, I should take out. You know, minus 9x divided by x gives you minus 9. So that means obviously I have to take minus 9. When I take minus 9, see whether it works. So minus 9 times x is minus 9x. Minus 9 times minus 3 gives me positive 7. Yeah, it's working. Okay. And the next line is, when you look at it, this x minus 3 goes into both. So I'm going to take that out. And I take x minus 3 out. That leaves with, first term has x squared. The second one has minus 9. Okay. Now, generally, when we see two factors, yeah, we are done. That's what we'll be thinking. But the question says factorize completely. That means there should be something here. So I need to know what is the catch. Okay, the x minus 3, you cannot do any more smaller. We write it as it is. However, that 9 is a perfect square. 9 is a perfect square. So that means I can write this as, I'm just going to divide that. So 9 is a perfect square, which is 3 square. So I'm going to write that as x square minus 3 square. Then we know there is a formula we have used before, which is a square minus b square can be factorized as a plus b times a minus b. So I'm going to use that for the second factor. So that means the first factor is x minus 3, and the second factor can be split into 2 as x plus 3 and x minus 3 using this rule. Okay, so therefore x power 3 minus 3x squared minus 9x plus 27 can be factorized as x minus 3, x plus 3 and x minus 3. So you can leave it like that, or you can write one more line, x minus 3 is squared because there are two terms, bracket x plus 3. So that completes the question. Okay, now we have one more. Okay, now again the question says factorize completely, but this time I have x power 4 minus x 16. So x power 4 can be written as x square square, and 16 can be written as 4 square. So therefore the question can be written as x square to the power 2 minus 4 to the power 2. Now we have seen earlier a square minus b square equal to a plus b times a minus b. So now this is of the form a square minus b square, where a is x square and b is 4. So therefore this can be factorized as x square plus 4 bracket x square minus 4. Now again, the question says factorize completely, because that means there must be some extra step we need to do. Now x square plus 4 cannot be factorized anymore. However, x square minus 4 can be written as x square plus 4, nothing could be done, but x square minus 4 can be written as like this, because 4 is 2 square. Now we apply the rule, the same rule again. The question now becomes x power 2 plus 4. This has two factors, which is x plus 2 times x minus 2. So this completes the question. So therefore x power 4 minus 16 equal to x square plus 4 times x plus 2